Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into, well, a really interesting trend in Australia, baby boomer entrepreneurship.
That's right. You shared that report, and it pulls together quite a bit of research. ABS data, academic studies, industry reports. It really focuses on that boomer generation born 46 to 65 and what they're doing business-wise.
And our mission here really is to get a handle on why this is happening. What sorts of businesses are they kicking off? What advantages do they bring? And what challenges are they up against?
Exactly. We want a clear picture of this, frankly, significant part of the Australian economy.
And here's what really jumped out at me. Senior entrepreneurship, so people 50 plus, it's actually the fastest growing area for starting businesses down under.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising, isn't it? Nearly half of all small business owners are over 50.
Wow.
They contribute billions, launch thousands of new ventures every year. And get this, even for young startups, like less than 3 years old, a third of them are led by boomers.
Okay, so this isn't just a small side trend. It's actually pretty major for the economy.
Huge. Startups drive job growth. So having this experienced group so involved has massive implications.
So who exactly are we talking about? How many people are in this boomer cohort in Australia?
We're looking at about, 5.4 to 5.6 million people. That's around 21, maybe 21.5% of the population.
And they're the wealthiest generation too, right?
By a long shot, they hold over half the nation's private wealth. A lot of that is tied up in property and investments.
So why are they starting businesses now? Is it purely passion projects or is there more to it?
Well, it really seems to be two main camps. You've got the necessity entrepreneurs,
Meaning?
meaning maybe their retirement savings aren't quite where they need to be, or they're facing ageism, finding traditional work. Those folks, particularly lower income boomers, might feel pushed into it.
Right, facing longer periods of unemployment if they lose a job. That makes sense.
Exactly. But then there's the other side, the desire or opportunity entrepreneurs.
Pulled rather than pushed.
Precisely. Often higher income individuals, they're drawn by, pursuing a passion, wanting flexibility, control over their work, keeping mentally sharp, maybe supplementing their income too. Financial standing plays a big role in why.
So what kinds of businesses are popping up? Is it all tech startups?
Not necessarily, though. Tech plays a role. It's really diverse. Often they leverage decades of experience. Think service industries, consulting, maybe traditional sectors like agriculture or retail where they have deep knowledge.
Okay.
A lot are small operations, maybe just themselves, non-employing businesses fitting into that whole gig economy structure.
And you mentioned something about a silver tsunami.
Ah, yes, that's also part of the picture. It's not just starting new things, but also a significant number of boomers looking to sell the businesses they've built over the years. That's a whole other economic shift happening.
Gotcha. And how tech savvy are they in these ventures? There's sometimes a stereotype.
Yeah, look, that stereotype is fading. Especially after COVID, adoption has really accelerated. Many are using online business models. They prefer online learning for upskilling.
Interesting. How do they research?
They tend to research pretty thoroughly online, often using desktops or laptops, actually, more than phones for deep dives. Review sites are important to them, and their online spending is definitely up, particularly for things like home and garden stuff.
Okay, so they're engaged online, but what about hurdles? Even with all that experience, it can't be totally smooth sailing.
No, definitely not. Finance can be a big one.
Really? Even with the wealth concentration.
Well, yeah. Accessing business loans is often tricky. Lenders might be skeptical about age. There are general funding gaps for SMEs anyway, and sometimes their wealth isn't in the liquid assets needed for collateral.
What else?
Technology, while they're using it, keeping up with the sheer pace of change is a challenge. Needing specific digital skills for business, not just basic literacy.
And sadly, ageism.
Unfortunately, yes. Negative stereotypes can come from investors, sometimes customers, even internalized self-doubt. And managing health and work-life balance becomes more critical, too.
But let's flip that. What are the big advantages they bring to the table?
Oh, huge advantages. Deep industry knowledge, the average is something like 13 plus years. Extensive personal and professional networks, and often the ability to self-finance, at least initially.
Which probably helps survival rates.
Absolutely. Studies show their ventures tend to survive longer. Plus, they often bring resilience, a more, perhaps, grounded approach to risk.
Is there much support tailored specifically for them?
That seems to be a gap. There are general government programs like self-employment assistance, which offers training, maybe allowances, and business.gov.au has resources, Nonprofits like CODA advocate for older Australians generally.
But not much laser focused on the entrepreneur boomer.
Exactly. There's a lack of really age-specific policies or resources designed to leverage their unique strengths and address those specific hurdles we talked about. Not enough awareness initiatives either.
And what about their mindset? Anything distinctive there in how they approach business?
They tend to have a more cautious risk tolerance, generally speaking, but maybe less fear of failure than younger entrepreneurs, having seen a cycle or two.
Makes sense.
Their tech engagement is, you could say, selective and purposeful. As mentioned, often preferring desktops for detailed research. They have high privacy concerns, generally skeptical of digital ads. They respond best to communication that feels trustworthy and clearly shows value.
So if we zoom out, connect this to the bigger picture.
It's clear this isn't just about individual career choices. It's a major demographic force reshaping the Australian economy. Their continued economic engagement through entrepreneurship can boost GDP, potentially extend working lives, and it'll definitely influence how that massive generational wealth transfer plays out.
Which really brings up a question for you listening. How might these insights, about boomer entrepreneurs, their drive, their challenges, how might that impact your own thinking? Maybe about career paths or investment opportunities, or even just how businesses should be talking to this pretty powerful demographic.
Yeah, what's really striking is that mix of necessity and aspiration fueling them. Understanding that is key, I think, if we want to foster a more inclusive and prosperous economy here in Australia.
And maybe a final thought to chew on. Given the immense experience and, frankly, the capital this generation holds, what innovative solutions could we develop? How could we better connect these boomer-led businesses with the specific resources and support they actually need to not just survive, but really thrive in today's landscape?